The new podcast, In the Shadow of Princeton, starts as the matriarch of a prominent Princeton family is found stabbed to death in her locked basement. Investigators look from a serial attacker to her family to Princeton University students. One hot-blooded investigator sees a conspiracy. Is he way off base, or does privilege let you get away with murder? In the Shadow of Princeton is available wherever you get podcasts, or you can binge it ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. On this date in 1981, the U.S. national debt hit $1 trillion. Folks, the deficit has been higher than that 11 times in the past 16 years. Today, we have a VA commissioner removed, medical marijuana still languishing, a mayor's passing, the Amtrak groundbreaking, and a look at political polling. My name's Ike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey used an executive order Tuesday to fire Veteran Affairs Commissioner Kent Davis, reports AL.com's Mike Kaysen. Now, that move came after the state's VA board did not vote to remove Davis per the governor's request. Ivey has said the problem she has with Davis is in the handling, or the mishandling, according to the governor, of $7 million in American Rescue Plan Act grants. She said the VA bungled a plan to distribute money for medical health care. Davis agreed to step down at the end of the year, but the administration said he has not responded to a request to reaffirm that commitment in writing. Some board members claim there has been a lack of communication and little effort to work through the issues on the part of the administration. 3 board members voted no on removing Davis, 2 voted yes, and 2 abstained. One of those voting yes was at the meeting as a proxy for the governor, who was on the board but didn't attend the meeting. A Montgomery Circuit judge has appointed a mediator tasked with dragging Alabama through its medical marijuana impasse, reports the Associated Press. The Alabama legislature passed a plan for medical marijuana more than 3 years ago, but it's since been bogged down in fights over the process used to license businesses that produce and distribute the product. Multiple times, the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission has awarded licenses, received criticism over who was left out, and rescinded the licenses. The sitting mayor of Jasper has passed away, reports AL.com's Howard Koplowitz. David P. O'Mary was elected to the position in 2016. After college at Alabama and grad school at LSU, he went to work at the First National Bank of Jasper, now Synovus Bank, and he stayed there for 39 years, working his way to senior executive vice president. He also served 15 years on the Jasper Board of Education. David P. O'Mary was 72 years old. Well, the Amtrak groundbreaking we talked about yesterday morning took place as expected. AL.com's Amanda Karamabadi has more.
U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg visited Mobile, Alabama for a groundbreaking ceremony marking the return of Amtrak service to the region, an event 19 years in the making. The event marks the start of construction projects that are necessary to restore Amtrak passenger rail service along the Gulf Coast.
2005 was the last time a passenger train traveled through Mobile when service was suspended because of Hurricane Katrina. The public demand to restore this train line has mounted ever since. And now, at last, it is happening.
The ceremony commences the construction of a layover track and platform, which will allow Amtrak to resume passenger services from New Orleans to Mobile. The project is expected to be completed by early next year, and it's part of broader efforts supported by the Biden administration to expand Amtrak services nationwide. Crucial to the project's success was a settlement reached in late 2022 between freight operators and the Alabama State Port Authority, which had once opposed the project. With cooperation secured and almost $200 million in federal grant money awarded, the future of passenger rail along the Gulf Coast has become a reality.
Thank you, Amanda. Let's take a quick break, and then I'm going to drop some political poll facts on you, maybe some analysis, mostly just facts. You got to watch people in their analysis. Y'all stay with us.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Well, here we are, inside a couple weeks before the November 5th election. It's mostly all over but the number crunching and desperation. AL.com's Lita Gore reported yesterday on some of the latest polling. Now, here's how close things are. According to the Washington Post Schar School poll, in 7 battleground states, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump were both sitting at 47%. Now, the rest of the voters there aren't typical undecideds. They said if these are the 2 options they have to choose from, they'd just as soon not vote. Now, have you ever watched a football game and come to the conclusion that secretly neither team really wanted to win, or maybe there just weren't many quarterbacks available during last year's draft? Speaking of those 7 battleground states, here's how they break down according to this poll. In Georgia, it's Harris by 4. In Michigan, Harris by 2. In Pennsylvania, Harris by 2. In Wisconsin, Harris by 3. In Arizona, Trump by 3. In North Carolina, Trump by 3. And in Nevada, it's 48-48. The poll takers liked how Trump handled his presidency more than they like Harris as VP. While Harris had only a 44% approval rating as VP, 51% approved of Trump the president, whether or not you think he stuck the landing. Now, the biggest drama in Alabama, however, will be the race in the 2nd Congressional District. Now, that district was rebuilt to favor the Democrats, and a poll published by Politico shows Democrat Shomari figures with a whopping 48-36 lead over Republican Caroline Dobson. Now, that still leaves 2 big questions. Whose voters will be interested enough to turn out on Election Day? And where have the undecided 16% been all this time? Also, when the polls miss by however much they miss, will we find out that they've underestimated Trump's haul for the 3rd consecutive presidential election cycle? Because they will miss a little. The New York Times did a study in 2016 and determined that 3% margin of error we always hear about, it only covers the error of selecting the sample and not other possible data slip-ups that take the real margin of error to 7 or 8%. And that's a big swing. About Trump, you hear speculation that he polls lower than he should because some people won't admit that they're Trump voters during the surveys. I don't know. I think it's more likely that the big pollsters may have underestimated the percentage of the voters who identify as Republicans or Republican leans. In years past, according to Gallup and other services, they've included more Democrats in their surveys because more Americans once identified as Democrats. Gallup and Pew Research data now show that gap has closed over time. Well, either way, stats only tell us so much. Don't let it discourage you from voting or serve as the political equivalent of Coach Saban's rat poison. Remember that the networks once called an election for Al Gore while Floridians were still standing in line to vote. Thank y'all for listening. We're going to be back here again tomorrow. Until then, y'all come by and see us anytime you want to on the World Wide Web at AL.com.